Shalom everybody. In today's video, we will be revealing the secrets of Technical Gate 23 and onward, which deal with the beard of Arich Anpin. As mentioned in previous videos, a new WhatsApp group has been formed for public discourse and announcements on general projects that are up and coming, as well as a free PDF of this very sefer we're looking at, Likutei Yira, is available via a QR code at the beginning of the video. You may also find it on both Amazon and bookbaby.com. Without further ado, let us begin. Here on page 226, we see a diagram of the beard of Arich Anpin, and it continues. Technical Gate 23, the beard of Arich Anpin. There are 13 aspects to the beard as stated in Book 17 of the Zohar, section 13 aspects of the Holy Beard. There are 4 concealed and 9 revealed aspects. The first 3 sparks, which are Shin, Tet, Nun, receive 3 aspects each, becoming 9. These are the 9 revealed aspects. The 4 concealed are the upper 3, the endless restriction, heart spark, with the addition of the sparks that emerge for 4. Now it is stated, Shin, Tet, Nun are the Chesed, Gevurah, and Tifras of the sparks. We find Arich Anpin is made from the same aforementioned aspects. Eitz Chaim, Book 3, Second Gate, Chapter 5, 4 principles. The 4th principle. The hairs of the head of the Kether of Arich Anpin, within which the Chesed of Atik Yomin, or Ancient of Days, is clothed, are Chesed. In Book 17 of the Zohar, in section Naso, part 10, the 13 corrections of the beard, we thus find that there are 13 aspects to the supernal beard, and this supernal beard of the Ancient of Days is called Arich Anpin. Rabbi Shimon began by saying, "Woe to the person that extends his hand to the precious and supreme beard of the holy old man who is Arich Anpin." We can find here in an English copy of Eitz Chaim, Volume 3, Section 5, called the 4th principle, the hairs of the head of the Kether of Arich Anpin, within which the Chesed of Atik Yomin is clothed, are kindness, Chesed. And this is in reference to what was earlier discussed when learning about the secret of the kings. We learned that the lower 7, an example of the kings, are the secret of Arich Anpin, Abba, Ima, Zeranpin, and the Nukva. And we find that Arich Anpin is a secret of the 3 Sfirot, Chesed, Gevurah, and Tifres, which are hinted by the letters Shin, Tet, Nun. It is written, out of his right hand goes Chesed, and it's written Arich Anpin, the Lord is slow to anger. It says, abundant in kindness, an example, Urav Chesed. This hints that Arich Anpin is associated with the sphere of Chesed. We learned there in Eitz Chaim that Arich Anpin is enclosed, or the Kether of Arich Anpin is enclosed by the Chesed of the Atik. The Atik is what we have been revealing, the Ancient of Days. And we find here that the sphere of Chesed occupies the Kether of Arich Anpin, which we will discuss very shortly. It should also be made known, out of his right hand goes Chesed. And it is also written, and behold, I saw Yehoshua the high priest standing before Hashem, the angel of Hashem, and Satan standing at his right, ready to accuse. This hints at 3 letters of Satan, Shin, Tet, and Nu. Because it's to the right, it hints that Shin is Chesed, Tet is Gevura, and Nun is Tiferes. Atik Chesed. Thus we find that these three sparks, in example Chesed, Gevura, Tiferes, each receive 3 parts, and collectively they are called 9 parts. And these are the 9 revealed parts of Arich Anpin. The spark of Chesed receives 3 aspects which become the Kether, Chokmah, and Bina of the Partzuf called Arich Anpin. This corresponds to Chesed, and is seen in the verse, the Lord is slow to anger, Arich Anpin, and abundant in Chesed, Urav Chesed. It is stated in the Zohar, the hairs are all equal in length, and also there is a hair that goes this way and that way. The hairs of Chesed correspond to the 72-letter name, which is the name Yudke Vavke expanded with the Yud, which has a value of 72. This is also the numerical value of the word Chesed. Chet is 8, Samek is 60, and Dalet is 4. Collectively, they are 72. Its aspect comes from the 72 name of Chesed, as identified by Exodus 14:19 and found in Book 9. This is referring to the 72-letter name of Hashem corresponding to the grade of Chesed. Now, why is this here? To answer that question, we have to go into Book 9 of the Zohar. In Beshalach, in chapter 14, and moved and it came and stretched out, we find a representation of the 72-letter name of Hashem, which is created out of 3 verses, Exodus 14:19, 14:20, and 14:21, which reveal collectively the 72-letter name of Hashem by using a certain pattern. All 3 of these verses contain exactly 72 letters, and when combined, create the 216-letter called the 72-letter name of God. This, however, is only associated with the sphere of Malchus. The reality is that each of the preceding verses, an example Exodus 14:19, 14:20, and 14:21, each are written in a certain way so as to be a secret 72-letter name by themselves, and they correspond to Chesed, Gevura, and Tiferes. Regarding this, the first verse, Exodus 14:19, corresponds to the sphere of Chesed. And it states here, all the 72 letters pertain to Gevura in the second set, which is after this first set, that is, on the following page, so as to reveal judgments and weapons that come from the left side. Weapons are the kings that died without weapons. We discussed in the previous gates how these kings without weapons hint to these 7 letters, and they extinguished, which are called the kings of Edom, and it says of them, they died because they did not have weapons. Thus we find that these 72-letter names of Hashem correspond to these weapons, an example, the Shorosh, or root. Thus we find each of these 3 72-letter names, which correspond to Chesed, Gevura, and Tiferes, as has been explained, with the final one corresponding to Malchus, is found at the center of these sections of the beard. Thus, this first, which is formed from Shemos, or Exodus 14:19, corresponding to Chesed, is located here. And it is the root power of the 72-letter name. And it says a hair goes this way and that way. Now, when the kings emerged, they emerged one on top of each other. This is called the world of Tohu. And it was also explained that the first 3 sparks were the secret of Arich Anpin, Shin, Tet, and Nun. Each of these received 3 parts. The 3 parts which are the secret of the Tagen, which were in the secret of letter Zayin, having a numerical value of 7, hinting to these 7 letters with the Tagen that are called the kings that died, as it was made known in the previous videos, Shin, Tet, Nun, Ayin, Zayin, Sadi, and Gimel. There are 3 lines above them because they receive from the Shefa of the Bina, Chokmah, and the Kether of the Atik. Now, when these first three vessels were rectified, they formed the beard of Arich Anpin, as shown here. The first level we'll discuss is Chesed. We thus find the 72-letter name corresponding to Chesed written out, and surrounding it, it was stated one hair goes this way and that way, and there are two that hang from the sides, and it is written they are all of the same length, mainly 10 letters. Now, the front corresponds to the name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, and the back corresponds to a name of Aleph He Yud He. The expansion of both of these are the same amount of letters, in example 10. The name that's being used for Chesed is the name of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei when it's expanded with a Yud, in example He Yud, Vav He Yud, etc. This having a total value of 72, which has a numerical value of the word Chesed, 8 plus 60 plus 4. Thus it says Chesed of Arich Anpin. This first level of the beard corresponds to the face, and thus we find the level of the beard being shown here. The hair goes this way and that way, mainly above the mouth, and two hairs that are descending beneath the ears, or from the sides of the ears. This in turn is corresponding to Keter, Chachma, and Bina. In example, these three drops receiving three parts. Thus, it's stated that the Keter of Arich Anpin encloses the Chesed of the Atik. It stands to reason that the next spark, which is the spark of Gevurah, encloses Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet, etc. Now, technical gate 24, the Das of Arich Anpin, corresponding to the mouth of the Ancient One, Das of Arich, is formed from the Das of each aspect of the Sfirot. It shines with the 10 names of God to each of the Sfirot, with each name descending Du, Tal, to the lower worlds. Together, they are called Shemen, or oil. Du, which is spelt Tes Lamed, value 39, times 10 for the 10 Sfirot, is a value of 390, meaning the oil. Zohar mentions that this oil descends down the beard of Arich Anpin, which are the roots of all of these various worlds. The word oil is spelled Shin Mem Nun, which is a value 300 plus 40 plus 50, or 390. This is the oil that drips from the beard, the roots of the worlds. Thus we found in the rectification of the first vessel, Chesed, which forms the top part of the beard, Keter, Chachma, and Bina. Thus this Du, which would correspond to the mouth, is Da'as. And it said a hair goes this way and that way, mainly over the mouth, as was shown a moment ago. Now, the root of this Du, which is Tet Lamed, which is the Shemen, this oil that drips from the beard as mentioned in the Zohar, it was stated that Du has a value of 39. And the Shorosh, or the root of that Du, is all the way above, and the secret of the 72 name, 63 name, 45 name, and 52 name, which was mentioned in the most early videos when discussing the secret of the Simsum, etc. We find that there are 10 letters to the expansion of the 72, which corresponds to the Yud, 10 letters to the expansion of the 63, corresponding to the He, 10 letters to the 45, corresponding to the Vav, and 9 letters corresponding to the final He of Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, an example name 52. Collectively, they are 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 9, or 39 letters. 39 letters is the value of Du, or Tal. This is the Shorosh, or the roots of that Shemen, or oil, that is descending through the mouth of the Ancient Holy One and dripping from the beard into the lower worlds. Technical gate 25, Gevurah of Arich Anpin. The second spark Tet, which is Gevurah, received 3 aspects from the 3 upper heads. They are Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet of Arich Anpin, respectively. The hairs in this place are marked by the 63 name. which has a numerical value of din. The 63 name, which corresponds here to the divine name Yud-Kei Vav-Kei, except the Vav is expanded with an Aleph as opposed to a Yud. And it has a value of din, meaning judgment. Dalet is 4, Yud is 10, and Nun is 50. The value is 64, which is 63 Imkalel, meaning 1/4 its totality. And this signifies Gevura, as din is one of the names of Gevura. There is a name of Eheya, expanded, or Aleph Chei Yud Hei, to each of these that accompanies it as well, as with each aspect. And those who are familiar with the secret of the true wisdom will perceive and know. The root is the 72 name of Gevura, which is Exodus chapter 14, verse 20. Thus we saw in Book 9 the various names of 72 formed from the passages, including the collective passage, which was the name for Malchus, and they were Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet. We find that Shemos, or Exodus chapter 14, verse 20, corresponds to the 72-letter name of Gevura. It is its Shirosha root. And we find, accordingly, Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet. And we'll find this surrounding the mouth. And so above the mouth, we have a hair going right and left, and hair descending from the ears. And below the mouth, we have one hair directly below the bottom lip, and we have two hairs that are at the sides of the chin. And we see it here. One hair going this way and that way. One hair descending from the right and the left. And then here we have one hair directly beneath the lip. That hair directly beneath the lip is the Tiferet of Gevurah. And the two hairs hanging at the top and right, left of the chin are the two side hairs of our second rectification. And so we see that the beard is in this exact image, meaning that the beard is corresponding to these exact proportions as above, and so too in our physical. Technical gate 26, the Tiferet of Arich Anpin. The spark Nun, which is Tiferet, receive three aspects, and they are the Netzach, Hod, and Yisod of Arich Anpin. Netzach, Hod, Yisod. The hair that hangs here is the secret of the 45 name, this being the secret of Adam. For Adam, Aleph is 1, Dalet is 4, and Mem is 40. The value is 45. This name alludes to Tiferet, as written, the beauty, Tiferet, of a man, Adam. The name of Hashem here is the 45 name. An example, Yud-Kei Vav-Kei expanded with the Aleph, having a value of 45. The root of the hairs are the 72 name of Tiferet, which is Exodus 19:21, or Shemos 19:21. Thus we find here the Tiferet of Arich Anpin. We find the 72-letter name written, and these three correspond to the bottom 3 points of the chin, mainly right at the center of the chin. And this particular hair is the hair that goes down in good measure to the heart, as it was mentioned in another place. These three hairs are what are being discussed here in relation to the correction of this vessel of Tiferet. For the vessel of Gevurah, we have the upper sides of the chin and the one hair beneath the bottom lip. And for the Chesed, meaning the top of Arich Anpin, we find the two beneath the ears and one going left and right above the mouth. Collectively, we see the totality of Arich Anpin. We find Chesed, which was Keter, Chochmah, and Bina. Gevurah, which was Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferet. And Tiferet, which was Netzach, Hod, and Yisod, of the parts of Arich Anpin. We see how they directly correspond to how the beard grows directly on our face. And these correspond to the rectification of these letters, Shin, Tet, and Nun. And here they are displayed with the tagging because they were rectified. When they first emerged, they were not rectified. And because they emerged one on top of each other, the rectification began afterwards. And according to the aforementioned system that was revealed. Gate 27, the beard. Thus we see the 9 revealed aspects from which form the parts of called Arich Anpin, The names of God that correspond to the hairs that hang in this place, the 72 named to Atzilus, the 63 named to Berea, the 45 named to Yetzirah. Each of these hairs are 10 letters and corresponding to the roots of the 10 sub-spheroth of each aspect respectively. There are 10 spheroth in Atzilus, 10 into Berea, and 10 into Yetzirah. Every single letter of this expansion hints to the root of the respective spheroth to that olamot, to that world. We find that the 45, 63, and 72 names, which rectified the first three letters, Shin, Tet, Nun, are in the secret of the dew that drips from the beard. And the dew was the highest root, or shorosh, of the divine name, which was the 72, 63, 45. These names are the precise names that are used in order to construct the beard. And thus, when they emerged and perished because they did not have the weapons or the shefa from the upper worlds because they were not connected at that time, when they received the shefa, they received the shefa in the secret of these divine names, as was explained. It is called Dikna Machinnuta, or the beard of the supernal faith. The 9 aspects are as follows: 1 hair this way and that way, referring to above the mouth. 2 hairs hang beneath the ears, left and right. 1 hair beneath the mouth. 2 hairs at the top of the jawline, as was explained. And 3 hairs that descend to the tip of the chin, as shown. Collectively, these are 9 aspects, and so too do we have these 9 aspects. This is the same with Yesod, an example of the reproductive organ. For the beard corresponding to Arich Anpin, which is the reproductive organ, takes the same pattern. Not only this, the hairs to the beard are the same as the hairs to the reproductive organ. Thus, the hairs are the same. At the end of this work, the 370 lights will be explained in detail, all of which are within the aspects of Arich. It is written in the Zohar that this beard spreads 3,700,000 universes. Arich Anpin has stated in the Zohar it spreads by 370 lights, and in Book 17 it states, the upper face spreads through 3,700,000 worlds, etc. Let us return to the matters of the body. Now take time to realize the 9 aspects in your own face. We are made in the image of the Ancient One. Seek to unite him with his honor and glory, and on that day, he and his name will be one. Regarding the 13 corrections of the beard, Rabbi Shimon began by saying, woe to the person that extends his hand to the precious, supreme beard of the holy old man, who is Arich Anpin, who is hidden and concealed from all, the beard of that praise, the beard concealed and most precious of any of his forms, Arich Anpin, the beard that is not known to the higher and lower beings, the beard that is the praise of all praises, the beard which could be neither approached nor seen by any prophet or holy man, the beard that hangs by its hair to the center of the heart is white as snow, most precious of all, most concealed of anything concealed, the face of universal faith. And we also see the description. The hairs are formed above and originate from that style of the hairs on the head, hinting to the 72, 63, 45, and 52 name, which derived from the restriction which was in the head of the Atik, that ascends in form above his ear and descends in front of the opening of the ears, which was the first level hanging from beneath the ears, 1 hair going this way and that way, with 1 strand in good measure in the beginning of the mouth. The hair gets shaped from 1 corner of the mouth to the other end of the mouth, etc. And it begins to describe the 13 corrections, all of which was revealed in generalities just now. Perhaps at a future time, I will make an in-depth breakdown of all of these levels, but consider them very carefully as they are incredibly profound. With that being said, we have watched the emanation of the head, the skull, and now the beard of that ancient Holy One. Shalom and Selah.